Okay, here we are, Unit 2, Session 2, Guided Notes. We're going to learn about another type of cell division that is different from mitosis. This type of cell division is for the production of gametes. Gametes means egg and sperm. All right, so here we go. Now, let's remember that mitosis, that is going to produce two identical daughter cells. Remember that works with somatic cells, and the other way of saying somatic is body cells. Remember that the T is for twinsies. Now, when something goes wrong in the cell cycle, we could have problems. So let's talk about that. So this song, regulators, mount up. I know every word to that song, you guys, because I was in high school in the 90s. Anyways, it always makes me think about this. So now if cell division is not kept in check, if it's not regulated, there's going to be big time problems. Now it is regulated by two different things. It's regulated by both external factors and internal factors. When you hear that external, you should think of outside, right? That's things happening outside the cell. It would be other cells contacting it and saying, hey, dude, stop growing, or hey, make some more. It'd also be internal factors. It would be the proteins that say, hey, time to make some more. And remember again that the cell size is limited to the surface area of surface area to volume. A good way to explain this, you guys, is if you think about a water balloon. So you fill up the water balloon. It can only hold so much water, right? At one point, it's going to get so big that it's going to burst. So that is because the surface area of the balloon can only accommodate so much volume of water. That is what that means. Now, cells can die. Programmed cell death. That's where they're like almost like a bomb. Like, you've seen that in action movies or something. There's a bomb and it's like 3, 2, 1 and it's like counting down. The word for that is apoptosis. It's one of my favorite science words. You guys, this is on the test right here. When cells die. So guess what? My little baby, my little sweet baby in my stomach, and you guys did too, and I did, we all had webbed hands. Webbed meaning like the fingers were connected by a little bit of skin. And, before a baby comes out, it's the web is gone, right? We can see, oh, this baby has such a perfect little hand, right? And that's because of apoptosis. Those cells are programmed to die. So, cancer. Probably most of us know someone that has been affected by cancer. It's such a, it's something that is really just pervasive now. And now cancer is caused by the cells basically going buck wild. It's like one bad guy cell goes buck wild and makes 1 million copies of itself. And those 1 million copies of themselves lump together into something that is called a tumor. Now, tumors, there's two types of tumors. It could be benign. Benign means that it's just kind of a clump of bad cancer cells, but they haven't spread. It could also be malignant. Malignant cells break away or metastasize. So there's 3 words here that you need to know: benign, malignant, and metastasize. Now, they could go into the bloodstream. The cancer cells go into the bloodstream, and let's say it started out as a lump in a woman's breast, and it metastasizes. That means that it starts to spread, and now not only does she have breast cancer, but she maybe also has stomach cancer. So that is that. That is why it's important, ladies, to make sure you're having regular doctor's visits and you're doing self-breast exams. Because if you catch it early, then it often doesn't have time to metastasize. Now, some things, we can't help, a lot of people, if they get cancer, they didn't do anything to make that cancer happen. Sometimes it's genetic. Sometimes it's just a weird, bad cell just went wild. But, there are some things that cause cancer. They're called carcinogens. And, an example of a carcinogen, obviously, is a cigarette. So what do you think your science teacher is going to tell you right now? Just say no to ingesting anything into your body that's like a cigarette. Even vapor ones, because there's not enough research yet. All right, so moving on from cancer, I'm going to show you guys a video about cancer in class. It's really interesting. But now, so cells get organized. This is on the test. And it is, the cells are in an organization. Now, first, the smallest unit of life then is a cell. So number one is a cell. A group of cells together are called tissue. Now, those cells are similar cells. They have a similar function. Next comes an organ. So that's a group of tissues working together. Next up, organ system. So an organ system is a group of organs that carry out similar functions. And finally is an organism. Okay, so, we have these cells, and the cells, they have specific functions, but not all of them. There's actually a really special kind of cell called a stem cell. Now, what happens is that cells need to do something called differentiate. Sounds like I'm saying different, right? That's because the cells are making themselves different. It's almost like they're just like a special, like blank slate of a cell. Now, some of you are going to go to college, and maybe you know that when you go to college, at some point you have to declare your major, right? So it's basically like a blank cell that hasn't declared its major yet. It doesn't know, do I want to be a kidney cell? Would I rather be a nerve cell? Oh, how about blood cell? I don't know. But once it declares what kind of cell it is, it will always be that kind of cell. It cannot change its mind. Now, all of this happens, you guys, when we're still inside of our moms. It actually happens like at the very beginning. So, my little baby that's growing, her cells are differentiating right now. And once they decide to be a liver cell, they're always going to be a liver cell. It's pretty amazing. So there's this thing called a stem cell, and a stem cell is basically that blank cell. It's the cell that hasn't declared its major yet. Now, stem cells are really unique, and they're really special because they can do three things. They can divide and renew themselves for long periods of time. They can remain undifferentiated. It means they can remain a blank slate. And they can develop into a variety of specialized cells. That's about all we're going to say about stem cells right now, but we are going to read an article when I see you guys that's going to talk about stem cells. And actually, maybe you've heard of stem cells. There's a lot of controversy, people fighting. It's actually a religious issue. How is that? If you're interested, you should Google it. Now, the moment you've all been waiting for, meiosis, which really means let's talk about reproduction. So, meiosis is for the production of germ cells. Not like, oh, you're so germy, but that's what we call sex cells. So they kind of have three names. They can be called germ cells, they can be called gametes, or they can be called sex cells. Sex cells in humans, sperm and egg. Boys have sperm, girls have eggs. Now, gametes only have 23 chromosomes because remember, I said that you get 23 from your mom and 23 from your dad. Believe it or not, eggs, biggest cell in the entire human body. Sperm, smallest cell in the entire human body. Now, maybe you've noticed, you say, well, hey, if I got 23 from my mom and 23 from my dad, and I have a sister, why do we not look exactly alike? That's because of something called meiosis. Okay, so reproduction, how does it work? Other than the obvious, wah wah. Now, remember your body cells each have 46 chromosomes, Now you got 23 from your mom and 23 from your dad. Now they're what's called homologous. In Latin, whenever you see this word homo, you should know that it means same. We're going to see this come up several more times in biology. Homo means same. So it's basically like the noodles that are alike match up. Now, one from your dad and one from your mom. Now, during fertilization, the sperm and egg meet. It's a miracle of life. And the 23 from your mom, so the 23 in the egg, match up with the 23 in the sperm, and that equals you, 46 chromosomes. Pretty amazing. Now, we have, so like I said, our sex cells, our eggs and sperm, they don't have all 46 of our chromosomes. They only have 23 of our chromosomes. So what happens is that those cells are actually formed in a different way than mitosis. Because if it was formed through mitosis, then they would all have 46 because that's the copy machine, right? So meiosis has two phases. The cell division happens twice, and this is what contributes to genetic diversity. Meiosis results in 4 haploid cells. So you can almost think of haploid like the word half. Haploid meaning they have 23. Diploid, DI, that prefix is kind of like the prefix BI. BI for bicycle means 2. So they have 2 copies of each. Now, meiosis allows for genetic diversity. How much does this picture look like a Gap ad? Believe it or not. Oh, I'm going to sneeze. Hold on. Believe it or not, this is my sister. Yes, we look very similar. And her husband. And this right here, this little muffin of love, is Winslow. He's my nephew, and I love him so much. So there is something called crossing over, and crossing over is what makes the cells different. Crossing over. We're going to do this, you guys, in class with Play-Doh, and it's going to make so much more sense, I promise. But just bear with me for a second. I'll show you how it is done. Oh, Winslow. Okay. So let's say that this one is your mom. This one is your dad. Now this is going to be the 46 chromosomes. Now if these were going to go through meiosis, the first stage, it's basically like they're going to separate. And you're going to have 2 red ones and 2 blue ones. That's stage 1 of meiosis. Now they're going to go through a second stage. And what's going to happen during that second stage is that these little parts right here are going to switch spots. So now you're going to have an X like this that has a little bit of blue on it. And then this one is going to have mostly blue, little bit of red. And when you take them apart, you're going to see you're going to have an all red one, a mostly red with a little bit of blue. You see that? I'm just basically taking them apart. Then you're going to have a all blue and then a mostly blue with a little bit of red. Now, how many combinations do I have in stage 1? I have 2 full red ones. Those are exactly the same. I have 2 full blue ones. Those are exactly the same. So really I only have 2 choices. But here I have 1, 2, 3, 4 different options for a trait. Now that is why we don't look exactly like our brother and sister. This is my family, circa 1985. So this one is me. This little Ewok is Rachel, my sister. And then here we have Joy. You can see my mom. Look at this 80s hair. It's amazing. And this is my dad. So, you know, my mom has this very light skin. My dad has dark skin. Me and Rachel ended up with darker skin. You know, we got a variety of traits. Now, this is why. Now, same dad, same mom. We don't look alike and exactly alike, and it's because of meiosis. I'm going to have you guys watch a video in class. Okay, I want you to remember this. Mitosis is for cellular division. Results in two identical nuclei. Oh my gosh, that was the most annoying thing you've ever heard in your life. Well, it's because the mitosis, I'm saying I, right? Division, identical. Now, the other one's called meiosis, like for me, right? Reproduction, gametes. I'm saying E every time. Gosh, that's annoying, but it's going to help you so much on your test. Okay, so I'm going to give you your secret password now. Man, I can't make it food related again because I'm so hungry. Well, fine. It's going to be food related. It's going to be pickles and ice cream. Pickles and ice cream. Secret password. So, I'll be seeing you guys, and when I see you next time, we will do our lab, we'll do some review, we'll play with Play-Doh, we'll watch some movies, and it's going to be a grand old time. All right, see y'all laters.